Hello and welcome to BizWatch News in 5 minutes, where we bring you Nigeria's latest business and economic news stories. My name is Oluwatoyin Akonde, and here are the top news stories as the week winds down. The headlines: Nigeria's GDP expands by 4.23% in Q2 2025, driven by oil and industry. 14 Nigerian banks achieve CBN's new recapitalization benchmark, CADOSO. CBN slashes benchmark interest rate to 27%, the first reduction since 2020. House of Reps launches Oversight Committee on Naira for Crude Oil Policy. Ousmane Dembele crowned 2025 Ballon d'Or winner in Paris. And now, the news in details. Nigeria's economy grew by 4.23% in the second quarter of 2025, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, showing stronger performance compared to both Q1 2025 and Q2 2024. Agriculture expanded by 2.8%, while the industry sector posted a robust growth of 7.5%, nearly double the 3.7% recorded a year earlier. The services sector grew by 3.9%, slightly higher than the last year's 3.8%. In Q2 2025, the industry sector share of GDP rose to 17.3%, up from 16.7% in the corresponding quarter of 2024. Nominal GDP reached 100.73 trillion naira, reflecting a 19.2% year-on-year increase. Oil output surged to 1.68 million barrels per day, up from 1.4 million barrels per day in Q2 2024 and 1.62 million barrels per day in Q1 2025. This drove a remarkable 20.4% real GDP growth in the oil sector, compared to 10% a year earlier. The oil sector's GDP contribution increased to 4.0% from 3.5% in 2024. The Central Bank of Nigeria has confirmed that 14 commercial banks in the country have successfully complied with the new capital base requirements outlined in the ongoing recapitalization program. CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso disclosed this in Abuja on Tuesday while presenting the communique from the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. According to the Apex Bank, the revised capital thresholds are aimed at strengthening the financial system and ensuring long-term stability. The last major recapitalization exercise took place in 2004, when the minimum capital base for banks was raised from 2 billion naira to 25 billion naira. That landmark policy triggered massive mergers and acquisitions, reducing the number of banks from 89 to 25. The Central Bank of Nigeria has reduced the country's benchmark interest rate to 27%, marking the first policy rate cut in 5 years and the first adjustment under Governor Olayemi Cardoso's leadership. The decision was announced by Cardoso on Tuesday during a press briefing in Abuja following the conclusion of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on September 22nd and 23rd, with all 12 members of the committee in attendance. Cardoso disclosed that the MPC opted to lower the monetary policy rate by 50 basis points to 27%, revise the standing facilities corridor, and increase the cash reserve requirement for commercial banks to 45%, while leaving that of merchant banks at 16%. Additionally, the MPC introduced a 75% CRR on non-TSA public sector deposits, while the liquidity ratio remained unchanged at 30%. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abba, has formally inaugurated an ad hoc committee tasked with supervising the implementation of the federal government's Naira for Crude Oil Policy. Speaking during the inauguration ceremony on Wednesday, Abba described the initiative as a milestone in ensuring transparency and accountability in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. According to him, the committee's mandate will focus on examining the effectiveness, interagency coordination, and long-term viability of the new policy. Abba emphasized that the Naira for crude oil policy is central to Nigeria's economic stability, revenue generation, and energy security. He added that the 10th House of Representatives remains committed to supporting President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, particularly in addressing the economic burdens facing citizens. And on the global scene, Paris Saint-Germain star Ousmane Dembele has been named the 2025 Ballon d'Or winner, cementing his place among football's elites at the prestigious ceremony held in Paris on Monday night. The French international produced a phenomenal 2024-2025 campaign, registering 35 goals and 16 assists across all competitions. His contributions were decisive in PSG's most successful season in history, as the club secured a historic UEFA Champions League title, their first ever, alongside triumphs in Ligue 1 and Coupe de France. Dembele, now 28, overcame strong competition from Barcelona's teenage sensation Lamine Yamal and several other world-class players to capture the accolade. That's all we have for the week on BizWatch News in 5 minutes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on Nigeria's latest business and economic news stories. My name is Oluwatoyin Akonde, and I'll see you next week.